All right. Movie number 2 brings us bang up to date. So Hallowscreen Night 22. And this film, it's one I'm very passionate about. So I love this movie, and it always shocks me how few people have seen it. So I get very excited at the opportunity of perhaps introducing more of you to it. Now, this was released in 1990. It didn't fare well, but we'll get into that. Now, the director has featured previously on my list, but not as a director. So he wrote a story called The Forbidden, which went on to become the highly successful Candyman film. So I'm talking about Clive Barker. Now, Hellraiser is usually always on my Halloween list, my watch list. However, this year I've replaced it with this one because I really wanted to introduce this to a wider audience. Now, as I said, it came out in 1990 and was highly misunderstood. It was butchered by the studio Morgan Creek. So I'm talking about a film called Clive Barker's Nightbreed. First of all, released here by Arrow Video in this absolutely amazing artwork. Absolutely love it. I'll show you the back here, list of special features. Again, quite an extensive release. I'm just going to pull this down. There's nothing actually there, but yeah. I think that is so fucking amazing. To highlight how it was misconstrued upon release and butchered by the studio, one thing Clive Barker talks about a lot in these special features is how the marketing for it didn't paint the picture of the film that he wanted to release. And this poster is a perfect example of that. Now, this is the theatrical poster, and I will just show you the reverse. So much better. It's moody. It gives off an atmosphere. It's got the fantasy elements. It just makes so much more sense for the film than the one we just saw. Just crazy. And the trailers, as you will see if you watch the disc here, it does have the trailers, and it doesn't represent the final movie. It's just bizarre. Basically what happened was Clive Barker created this epic fantasy movie, and the studio got scared because they watched it and didn't necessarily understand it, and so they decided to advertise it and try and cut it down to be your standard slasher. So basically, for context, Nightbreed tells the story of a character called Aaron Boone, who has visions and nightmares about a place called Midian, and he becomes convinced that he doesn't belong to the human world, and he wants to set out and find this place where he feels like he would be at home. Now, his girlfriend gets worried and refers him to a psychotherapist called Dr. Decker, played by David Cronenberg. Now, Dr. Decker, unbeknown to anyone else, is a serial killer, and he plans to go on this killing spree and paint Aaron Boone as the serial killer. Aaron Boone goes off in search of Midian, serial killer follows, Dr. Decker follows, and chaos ensues. It's just such a rich movie, and the theatrical cut is very much cut down, and it is butchered, and it's kind of interesting to watch that. So you get 2 cuts of the movie, the theatrical cut, which is 106 minutes, I believe, and then you get the director's cut, which clocks in at 120 minutes. There's about 18 minutes difference, and it is a vast difference. The director's cut has extra footage, it's reworked, and it's just so fucking good compared to that theatrical cut. They get stuck into the special features, which are themselves quite extensive. So you get a commentary track on there, you get interviews with cast and crew, you get rehearsal footage, you get B-roll footage, you get a look at the matte paintings that were used in the film, makeup tests, trailers, TV spots, stills gallery. It's really extensive. Now, one of my favourite features on the disc is called Cutting Compromise. Now, as I said, 2 versions of the film. The original version that Clive Barker had in mind was being cut by a guy called Richard Marden. Halfway through, another editor was brought in called Mark Goldblatt, who's worked on films such as Terminator. Richard then left the production because of a disagreement on the direction of the movie, and it's a conversation with Mark Goldblatt about having to step in and his view on whether that was the right thing to do or not. And it's really interesting because ultimately it boils down to art versus corporation. So a director's vision versus the people that are paying for this film to be made. So it's a really interesting discussion. with someone kind of caught in the middle, and it's, yeah, well worth a watch. Really, really interesting stuff. Got some nice physical special features. You've got a double-sided poster here, and this beautiful, again, look at that. So this has got 2 pieces of writing in it. You've got an essay by Amy Simmons. Got this piece, The Monstrous and the Dead, looking back on Nightbreed. And this gives you a bit of information on, you know, that original cut, the disagreements between studio and director, things like that. Again, just really, really great read. It's just such a great package, and honestly, please check out this movie if you've not seen it before. But always check out the director's cut first to fall in love with it, and then check out how to compare it to the theatrical. So yeah, Nightbreed, guys, Night 22, and so there it is.